Hello students, today we will do the magnetic field due to current element, that is the Biot-Savart law. Now in chapter 1 we have studied the Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law was used to find out the force acting on the charges kept at some separation r. Now in this topic we will try to find out the magnetic field intensity due to current carrying element or due to current carrying conductor. So this Biot-Savart law is a relation between the current and the magnetic field intensity. So now let us consider a conductor. The conductor is assumed to be an infinite conductor and the current flowing through this conductor. So this is a conducting wire through which a current I is flowing, and we know that a current carrying conductor produces the magnetic field around it. And if it produces a magnetic field around it, what is its intensity? So the first step in this is we divide this entire wire into the small elements, that is infinite simile element. This is one element, this is another element. So this entire wire has to be divided into the small element. So these are the elements shown by the small arrow, infinite simile. Now each element is being referred as the current element. We represent this small element, or we call this as a current element, and it is written as IDL vector. So let us consider this current element IDL vector. Now suppose we want to find out the electric field intensity at a point P. Now let us consider this as a position vector at point P. So we consider a point P, this is a current element and this is a position vector. Let this angle between the current element and the displacement vector is theta. So we have to find out the electric field intensity at point P using the Biot-Savart law. So entire wire or a conductor is divided into the small elements. Each element is been referred as current element, denoted by IDL vector. So here the direction will play an important role. Now we consider any point at a distance, the magnitude is r, or we call it a displacement vector or a position vector. So according to Biot-Savart, the magnetic field intensity at any point, we are talking about the magnitude, then we will come to the direction. So when we talk about the magnitude, we found that the magnetic field intensity at point P, we are talking about the magnitude, is directly proportional to the current element and inversely proportional to the square of distance, very much similar to the Coulomb's law. So the magnitude of the magnetic field intensity at any point due to current element is directly proportional to the current element, or we say a product of I and the length of the element, and inversely proportional to the square of distance. This is a magnitude. Now we know that the magnetic field produce around it. We will find out its direction by a right hand thumb rule. So magnetic field will be perpendicular to the plane in which this current carrying wire is kept. So in the vector notation, this law is written as dB vector is directly proportional to IDL cross r vector, that is a displacement vector, divided by r cube. So clearly This magnetic field intensity depends on the angle between IDL and the R vector, because if I change these elements, the angle will also keep on changing. So we have taken here irregular shaped wire. If it is a straight wire, then the point P will be at equal distance from each current element. So dB is directly proportional to the cross product. Now this is a cross product of the current element and the displacement vector divided by RQ. And therefore, this dV can be written as mu naught upon 4 pi IDL cross R vector divided by R cube. So like we have a Coulomb's constant there, small k, which was 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Here we have a constant of proportionality, which is mu naught by 4 pi. Here mu naught is called permeability of a medium. Here we are assuming the medium is air or a vacuum. So it is a permeability of vacuum, and its value is found to be 4 into 10 raised to minus 7. And if we go for a unit, this unit can be Tesla. Then we have meter cut here. So Tesla meter square upon ampere. Again we have meter. So the unit becomes Tesla meter per ampere. So here we have the length meter, this meter, so meter square, meter cube, so 1 meter is cancelled. So this mu naught is found to be Tesla upon Tesla meter upon ampere. You find out its dimensional formula also. So the dimensional formula of mu naught is left as an exercise. This is the permeability of a vacuum. So that is the ability to allow the magnetic field to pass through it. Now, if we want to write down its magnitude, so the magnitude of magnetic field intensity at point P will be given as IDL sin theta upon 4 pi r square. So this is the magnitude of the magnetic field intensity at point P. Clearly, it is a cross product, so the direction of the magnetic field or the magnetic field intensity is perpendicular to the plane containing IDL vector and R vector. So magnetic field should be perpendicular to this two quantities. Now if we apply the right hand thumb rule for this situation, and I consider only a small element, so current is going upward, so current thumb is in the direction of current. I curl my hand, point P is here, so the magnetic field form is anti-clockwise. At this point it is going into the plane of paper. If the point is on this side, it will be coming out from the plane of the paper, or you can say it is the plane of a board. So here the magnetic field is going inward, so inward magnetic field is represented by cross. So this is the direction of the magnetic field. Here dB vector is perpendicular to the plane containing IDL vector and the displacement vector or a position vector. So this is the magnitude of the magnetic field intensity at any point due to current element, and this is the equation in a vector form. Now let us say few similarities and dissimilarities between this law and the Coulomb's law. Say Coulomb's law help us to find out the force acting between the charges. From that force, we found the electric field intensity. So there are some similarity and dissimilarity between the electric field intensity and the magnetic field intensity. Now, first is the similarity. Now what is the similarity? Now if we see the magnitude, we have 1 upon r square. So it is a inverse square law. So both laws obey inverse square law. Both laws obeys inverse square law. Then both are long range. So we have an electric field intensity or magnetic field. Because they are inversely proportional to the square of the distance, they are the long range forces, or we can say the range is very large. Second, we have a dissimilarity. Now the electric field was produced by a charge, and charge was a scalar quantity. So the source of the electric field intensity is scalar. But here we have seen that the magnetic field is due to the current element, and current element we have written I dl vector. The direction of dl vector or the current also play an important role. If the current is reversed, so if the current is in downward direction, the magnetic field will be clockwise, and at this point it will be coming out from the plane of the board, and for this point it will be going into. So the direction is reversed. So here the magnetic field intensity or magnetic field is produced by a source which is vector, and in that case in the Coulomb's law the source was scalar. So in electric field, source, that was nothing but a charge, is scalar, and here source is vector. And what is the source? That is a current carrying conductor or a current carrying element. So this is a dissimilarity, this is a similarity. Third, now if we remember the direction, so if I consider one charge Q, that is the source charge, and if I want to find out the electric field intensity at point P at a distance r, then the direction of the electric field intensity is in the direction of the displacement vector. So the direction of the electric field is in the direction of the displacement vector, which was joining source with a point. Here the direction of the magnetic field intensity is perpendicular to the current element. So the angle between dB vector and IDL vector is 90. So this is again a dissimilarity. The direction of E vector is along displacement vector, or you can say a position vector, joining source and point, say P. Let us say it is a point P, but direction of magnetic field is perpendicular to source. That is, what is the source? The source is IDL vector. So again this is a dissimilarity, and again the last dissimilarity, again it is a dissimilarity. Here the magnetic field intensity depends on the theta, because it is a cross product. And in this case there was no angle dependence. So Biot-Savart law is angle dependent, or you can say the magnetic field or the magnitude of electric field intensity depend on angle, whereas the electric field intensity was angle independent. Now, suppose that this point P is lying on the wire itself. So it is lying on the axis of the wire. So if I draw this wire, like if I show the thickness, this point P is lying on the axis of the wire, then R vector is 0, and therefore the magnetic field intensity due to the current element comes out to be 0. So that is one case. If R is 0, clearly the magnetic field intensity should be 0. And another case is, instead of R, if we say if we talk about the theta, what is the theta? Theta is angle between ideal and R vector. Now if this angle becomes 0, then also the magnetic field intensity is 0. So we have a different case, and if this theta is 90 degree, clearly the magnitude of the magnetic field intensity should be maximum. So this is a Biot-Savart law. Now let us see example 4.5, which is the direct application of a Biot-Savart law. Now the diagram is given in the figure. At a origin, so this is the origin, this is x-axis, y-axis. At the origin, we have a small element, that is a current element, which is carrying a current of 10 ampere. The magnitude of this element is denoted by delta xi. We have to find out the magnetic field intensity at point P, which is at a distance 0.5 meter from the small current element, which is 1 centimeter. So that is 10 raised to minus 2 meter. So these are the formulas we have written. So according to Biot-Savart law, first we write this law in a vector form. So dB vector is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl vector cross R vector upon R cube. Now let us see the angle between ideal vector and the position vector. So ideal vector, if we say, it is along the x-axis, so that can be written as can be denoted by I cap. Then we talk about J, so it is along y-axis, so we can find out the direction with the help of I cross J also. So we will find out the magnitude. Clearly the angle between these two vectors is 90 degree. One is along x-axis, other is along y-axis. So if I have to write the magnitude, clearly theta is 90, so sin 90 is 1. Here ideal vector is perpendicular to R vector, that is theta is equal to pi by 2. Therefore dB is equal to, so mu naught 4 pi I, in the place of dl, the magnitude of dl here is represented by delta x, sin 90 is 1 upon R square. So this is the magnitude. We substitute the value of mu naught, that is 4 into, the value of permeability of vacuum is 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7, not 4 into 10 raised to minus 7. So you do this correction in the theory portion, it is 4 pi. So mu naught is equal to 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7 upon 4 pi. This can be written as I is given as 10, delta x 10 raised to minus 2 upon R square, that is 0.5. So 0.5 means 5 upon 10. This can be written as 5 upon 10. We need a square. So 25 upon 100, that is 10 raised to 2. So the calculation is very simple. 4 pi is cancelled. 10 raised to minus 2, this is cancelled. If we take 1 0 at this point, it becomes 10 raised to minus 8 into 100 upon 25. So it becomes 4 into 10 raised to minus 8 Tesla. So this is the magnitude and direction. It is clear that the dB vector should be perpendicular to the plane. So here I cross j, that is equal to k cap. So the direction of, we conclude this numerical with the direction of dB vector is along positive z axis, that is I cross j is equal to k in our equation number 1. So this is the direct application of this Biot-Savart law. Also, you make this correction in our theory. I have written 4 into 10 raised to minus 7. The actual value is 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7. So you do this correction also in the theory. So this is a direct application of Biot-Savart law. Now our next topic is the magnetic field on the axis of a circular current flow. Again, it is an application of a Biot-Savart law. Now in this topic, the current is flowing in a circular ring, or you can say the current is circular. While doing this Biot-Savart law or the earlier topic, the current flowing was straight. So we have till this lecture, we have considered the current is flowing in a straight wire. And when the current is flowing in a straight wire, the magnetic field was circular or perpendicular to the plane containing IDL and R vector. Now in this example, you can say it is an example of a Biot-Savart law. The current flowing is circular. So we consider a ring in which the current is circular. Now we have to determine the direction of the magnetic field as well as its magnitude on its axis. Now before we move on to this topic or derive the formula for the magnetic field intensity, we will try to understand the direction involved, and in the next lecture we will do the derivation. So we try to understand the theory portion of this problem. So let us consider a ring. So let us say it is a ring. Let us assume it has a small thickness. So while doing this application, we will take an extremely thin ring. But to understand this concept, we are taking some thickness of this ring. I have to find out the magnetic field on its axis. So this will be the axis of the ring. So we assume that the ring is in XZ plane. So this is a ring. The ring is placed like this. We try to understand the ring like this. So you can keep ring like this. We can keep a ring like this. This is the axis. This is the axis of the ring. For the time being, to understand the direction, I am keeping the ring like this. Now let us assume the current flowing in the ring is anti-clockwise direction. So this is the direction of the current which is flowing in the ring. This is anti-clockwise direction current. Now, when the wire was a straight wire, we applied the right hand thumb rule, and this the direction in which our palm curl will give you the direction of the magnetic field. So we curl our hand, we rotate our palm. Now in this situation, or if this current is in the ring, again we will rotate this palm in the direction of the current, and thumb will give you the direction of the magnetic field. So we reverse the situation. So here, if this is a ring and the current is flowing in an anti-clockwise direction, I will curl my hand like this. Curl my hand like this in anti-clockwise direction. So this is a right hand rule. So I curl my hand, the thumb is upward. So the direction of the magnetic field intensity on the axis of the ring is, say if it is a y-axis, we call it a y-axis. But this is not the situation. It is only along the axis of a circular ring. The actual ring, or sorry, the actual magnetic field is almost, or it is similar to the magnetic field of a bar magnet. So it is like this. So this is how the magnetic field of a ring is formed. So we know it is similar to the bar magnet. So this is how the magnetic field intensity is formed. So if you remember, or if you know in the lower classes, if this is a bar magnet and this is north and south, or let us keep the bar magnet like this, north and south, this is a bar magnet. So we will study again this in the next chapter. So if we have this as a north and south pole, then the magnetic field intensity so we know that the magnetic field intensity originate from the north pole of a bar magnet, then this magnetic field intensity do not terminate at south pole, but inside the bar magnet it is in the direction from south to north pole. So that is dissimilarity between electric field lines and magnetic field lines that we will see in the next chapter. So this ring almost behave like a bar magnet. So instead of this ring, the current is flowing like this in an anti-clockwise direction. So if I have to find out only the direction of the magnetic field on its axis, so on its axis the magnetic field is perpendicular to this ring. Otherwise, for this portion the magnetic field is in this direction. So it originates from the upper side, then it goes inward like this. At this point it is again coming out from below, it is going in. Magnetic field is like this. For this portion it is like this. So you apply, otherwise you apply the right hand thumb rule. You divide this ring into 4 parts. Say this is one part, this is second part, this is third part, and this is fourth part. If I take only this part, the current is moving up. So thumb up, right hand thumb rule. My fingers will come outward. So the magnetic field lines will be like this. Now if I keep the ring like this, it will go to this side. So if I keep ring like this, thumb here, inward, it goes into the ring, and from this side it comes upward. Similarly, if I consider this section, current is in this direction. I curl my hand. So it goes inward from the back and come outward. So here magnetic field will come like this. It will form ring here. Again like this. But if you take a axis, we will see in the next lecture, we have to make a components, because the electric field on the ring is not straight. So if I take this portion, it is ring like this, ring like that. If I take this portion, the current is anti-clockwise, so I keep thumb here. So it will be formed like this ring. So we have to take its component. But if I place a ring like this and say what is the magnetic field along its axis, we will find out it will be along the y-axis. So ring is placed. Now ring is placed in xz plane. This ring is placed in xz plane. So the ring we assume in xz plane. If I keep a ring like this, now what is this plane? It is xy plane. So the magnetic field will be along the z-axis, that is perpendicular to it. So if I keep ring like this, if I consider this section, my fingers will come out. It will move to this side. Again my finger will come out from this side. Then the current is going inward. My finger will come outward. For this section the current is in this direction. My finger will come outward. So it will form a ring here. Like this. The magnetic field will be circular. But when we resolve this, we will find that the components which are perpendicular to this magnetic field will cancel. And all the components which are parallel to this plane will add up. So we will consider the ring in a plane. And the magnetic field contribution will be by the component which is parallel to the plane, and perpendicular component will cancel out. So this is how we find out the direction along the axis simply by a right hand thumb rule. So if the current is flowing in a clockwise direction, current is flowing in a clockwise direction, so I will rotate my hand like this. So you rotate your fingers in the direction of the current. So you rotate like this. Your thumb is downward. So on the axis, along its axis, the magnetic field is in downward direction. And if the current is anti-clockwise, it is upward. So now, instead of using the rule again and again, we come to this conclusion that if in any ring, the current is flowing anti-clockwise, then that side will behave like a north pole, and it is represented like this. See, the current is flowing, so it behaves like a north pole. So if I say the current in this is a north pole, the current in this ring is in anti-clockwise direction. So immediately you should remember it will behave like a north pole. Front side will behave as a north pole and the back side will behave as a south pole. So magnetic field line originates from north, goes into the south, inside it goes to south to north. So if this is north and that is south, the field lines will come out from the north pole. Then it will move like this inside. That field lines go to this side, from that it will come out like this here. But along the axis of a bar magnet, the field line is straight. So if you have a bar magnet or a ring carrying current, the magnetic field intensity will remain same. We will connect these two topics in the next lecture. So if current is flowing anti-clockwise, immediately you have to remember that the direction is, the pole will become, or the this side will behave like a north pole. And if the current is flowing in the clockwise direction, then this side of the ring or this face of the ring will behave like a south pole, and the field lines goes inside the south pole. It originates from north, goes into the south, and then again if it is a bar magnet, it is from south to north. We will say it will form a closed loop It is not like a electric field that it originate and terminate. So magnetic field lines will not terminate. So again, let us say that if the current is say clockwise, now instead of using the rule, if the current is clockwise, this phase will behave like a south pole, and the phase opposite to it, that is from the back, if I say it is a north pole. So if I am watching this ring from back, it is the north pole. So field lines will come outward. Along the axis, the direction will be inward. If I am, my point is here. So, and if I am saying from this side, it will behave like a south pole. If it behave like a south pole, the magnetic field lines is going into. So the field lines will be drawn like this. It originates from this side, come to this side, and from this side it will go into the plane. So if this ring is in XY plane, the magnetic field intensity is along the Z axis. If you are on its axis, that is, the magnetic field is perpendicular to the plane containing again a wire carrying current. So this is how we will derive this relation, and we will find out the magnitude of the magnetic field intensity on the axis of the circular current loop in the next lecture. So you try to understand this direction. Again, in the next lecture, we will apply the Biot-Savart law to find out the magnetic field intensity. So you remember this convention. Instead of using the rule again and again, directly you can say whether it is a north pole or a south pole. So we'll wind up our today's lecture at this point. Have a nice day.